Put it all in there. Good job.
Are you very excited to eat? It's gonna be yummy. And voila, this is my most favorite. And in this kitchen, we like this one. Hey friends, Bree here. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today we are making some of my absolute favorite side dishes for Thanksgiving. We're making bacon Brussels sprouts, crock-pot mac and cheese, sweet potato casserole, a homemade cranberry sauce, corn souffle, and mashed potatoes. I am so excited to share these recipes with you. I know that you are going to love them, and anytime I get to cook like this for my family, it makes me super pumped. So let's do this. In full transparency, I was going to make a air fried turkey breast as well, but of course the turkey breast doesn't fit in the air fryer, so it wouldn't be Thanksgiving without a kitchen fail. Remember that, it's a part of the holidays. So if something goes wrong in your kitchen, just roll with it. It's a part of the memory for that year. So I first like to start with making homemade cranberry sauce because it is so easy. So I prepped all of my ingredients and got everything out and ready, but I promise you this is like the easiest, most simple dish you can bring to a Thanksgiving dinner. So you want to start with a whole bag of cranberries and then a half a cup of fresh squeezed orange juice, followed by another half a cup of water and 1 cup of sugar, and then a little bit of cinnamon, and it is absolutely delicious. You're just gonna let it boil and then reduce it to a simmer, and then just keep an eye on it for about 30 minutes or so, and it reduces down to the most delicious, perfectly balanced, sweet and tangy sauce I promise you will ever eat. And I will have all of these recipes written out down in the description box below, so if you're interested in that, please check it out. In today's video, you'll see me kind of bounce around from recipe to recipe as if I were actually cooking it in the kitchen on Thanksgiving Day. That's just really the only way you can get it done in a certain amount of time frame, so this is pretty real life. And with that being said, early this morning I put my sweet potatoes in my crock pot. This is like my little hack. I just put them in the crock pot on high for a couple hours and they come out perfect. I let them cool, and then I'll make my sweet potato casserole in a little bit. So moving on over to the Brussels sprouts, I let them soak in a little bit of baking soda to clean them off, and now I'm rinsing them. And then I'm going to cut them in equal sizes. So for the bigger ones, I'll cut them in fourths, and then for the smaller ones, I'll cut them in half. Now that the cranberry sauce has been brought to a boil, see they're like starting to pop open, I'm going to reduce that to low and let them just simmer for a little bit. Now I'm pouring about 2 cups of elbow macaronis for the crock pot macaroni and cheese, and I'm gonna let that cook just under al dente so they don't get mushy in the crock pot. And today's video is in collab with my friend Shelby over at the Servant Hearted Mama. She has the most warm and welcoming spirit. I love to watch her videos. She's a woman of faith and does tons of cleaning, cooking, lifestyle. She just did a toddler activities video. I know that you will love her. So once you're done watching this video, head on over to her channel and let her know that I sent you in the comments section. Now I'm prepping my Brussels sprouts to be roasted in the oven. They get roasted at 425, which is really hot, and it actually makes my kitchen pretty hot, so I like to get this done first. That way when people are coming over, my kitchen and my house has time to cool down. So that's another thing just to take a look at. Just take a look at what needs to get cooked at what temperature and plan your menu accordingly. That way the day runs smoothly, and when guests come over, you know, they're not sweating in your house. I am such a simple girl when it comes to the kitchen. I like simple appliances and I like simple ingredients. So to roast the Brussels sprouts, all I do is add a little bit of olive oil, some salt, pepper, and garlic powder, and I'm pretty generous with the seasoning on these. And then I just let them roast at 425 for about 30 minutes, flipping them halfway in between, and they come out so delicious. It's like that perfect consistency, that right char, and they are just decadent. Cranberry sauce is looking good. I took it off the heat. The consistency looks absolutely perfect. Like, see, the longer you let it cook and reduce down, the more like gelatinous it becomes. And once it's cool, you can put it in a container and store it in your refrigerator. It's a great make-ahead meal. Moving on now to the Crock-Pot macaroni and cheese. I am just straining my elbow noodles over my colander. I love this thing. I use this to clean my vegetables and to strain my pasta and all other things that I need to cook with. Not to mention it's great self-care for me to steam my face. It's like an at-home facial. I love using my crock pot whenever I can, especially on Thanksgiving. That way I have more room in my oven and I have more room on my burners to cook. And all you need for this delicious ooey gooey mac and cheese is 2 cups of cooked elbow noodles, 1.5 cups of whole milk, a 12-ounce can of evaporated milk, half a stick of butter melted, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and a little bit of paprika, and then 2 eggs whisked and beaten right into the mixture, followed up by the stars of the dish, and that is freshly grated sharp cheddar cheese and freshly grated Monterey Jack. I like to do freshly grated as opposed to the pre-grated in the bag because the pre-grated has casing on it, which helps with like preserving it for longer, but that also takes away from the gooiness of it. So I like to freshly grate the cheese because trust me, it comes out so much better. If you're in a pinch, totally fine, but this is the best way to do it in my opinion. And oh my goodness, cheese makes me so happy. This meal makes me so happy. My family loves it, and I'm mostly dairy free, but I feel like you can't skip out on this at Thanksgiving time. So this will cook on low for about 3.5 hours. Try not to go over 3.5 hours because that's when you lose that gooey factor and it starts to like kind of curdle the milk a little bit. Cheese in a crock pot.
Make mac and cheese.
Can you put it in there to see it? You gonna help me? Yeah, she said.
Put it all in there. Good job.
Look at all of that.
I'll do it by myself.
You will do it by yourself? Okay. Go ahead.
Good job.
Good job.
I can do it by myself.
I believe you.
And you mix it.
I'll help you mix it. Good. Dump it in. Dump it in. Look at this. Good job, Bella. Alright, let's get a spoon. Hold on. So now that the Brussels sprouts are halfway through, I'm taking them out just to give them a good stir. That way the other side can brown. And then I'm putting in the bacon. So I like to use this Applegate no sugar bacon. It's Whole30, but it's also like delicious. It tastes like Sunday morning bacon. And I cut them into little bits. That cranberry sauce is so beautiful. Look at that color. It is absolutely delicious. It's perfect to store in your Pyrex and bring it over to a house. And if you're looking to impress folks, this is the easiest way to do that. Okay, I just have to taste this cranberry sauce because it smells like heaven. Oh God, so good. Oh my gosh, it is so good. I want more. And the Brussels sprouts are out. Perfect consistency. I mean, look at that. They just look perfect and crisp. I could eat them all day. Okay, now I have to try these Brussels sprouts. Sorry, kids are fired up in the background. But they look so good. With the bacon. Oh my gosh. Gotta get the bacon. They're still really hot. I live for Brussels sprouts. These would be really good with like honey or maple syrup or however you want to dress them, but I personally like them plain. And I just recently majorly organized my kitchen, so if you missed that video, I will link it up in the card above in the description below, but this is like my happy place. Moving on right along to my two favorite dishes. I look forward to these dishes every single year. So my sweet potato casserole and my corn souffle, they are without a doubt must every single Thanksgiving. They're so easy to make and they're so delicious they could be dessert. So starting off with the sweet potato casserole, now that the sweet potatoes are cooled from my CROCKPOT hack earlier, I am just peeling them off. It is so easy to peel them off. As you can tell, they just come right off, and I put them in the dish that I'm going to bake with just to have less dishes on Thanksgiving. That's another tip. Less is more when it comes to dishes, especially on holidays. And I use about 5 or 6 of these, just enough to cover the pan. And then you just add all your ingredients to that same pan. So I use 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter, or half a stick, 3/4 a cup of brown sugar, half a cup of heavy cream, a pinch of salt, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, a pinch of cinnamon, a pinch of nutmeg, some oats, and some marshmallows. You're going to throw this in a 350-degree oven and let that cook for about 30 minutes. And I cook this sweet potato casserole with the corn souffle at the same time because it's so easy to make and they both cook at the same temperature, 350. So I throw them both in at the same time. I take the sweet potato casserole out after 30 minutes and let the corn souffle stay in the oven for an additional 30. Oh yeah. Oh my god, this is like my favorite dish ever. Oh my gosh. I am so excited for this. Okay, so let me just flatten it out. We get the little ones. If Bella wasn't napping, I would let her do the marshmallows because she loves to do them. They are so fun for her. We'll make hot chocolate later and she can have them then. Alright, you think that's enough marshmallow? Oh, we got sweet potato on it. Can't let it go to waste. Some oats. Just to like absorb the water. And voila! This is my most favorite Thanksgiving dessert. This one, or not dessert, it's a meal, but it tastes like a dessert. So good. And in this kitchen, we like this one. So good. Moving right along to the corn souffle, or this is just like the box of Jiffy souffle. I take 1 can of corn with the liquid, 1 can of cream corn with the liquid, a whole box of Jiffy, 1 cup of sour cream, and a half a stick of melted butter. Again, cook it at 350 for about 50 minutes to an hour, and it is so delicious.
Stars made of stars up above, made to fall. Stars, counting stars, and they guide me through the dark. Lonely days left in despair, air is getting heavier, but I do my best to breathe. Dreams of green and filled with bliss, life is so much more than this. So where do you go when nothing's like home?
What do you think of Thanksgiving? Are you very excited to eat? It's gonna be yummy. Your first turkey day. What do you think about that? But you can like the sweet potato. I think you'll like sweet potatoes. Yummy! And the next meal I'm going to make are mashed potatoes. I couldn't let Thanksgiving go by without having mashed potatoes. They are such a staple and they're my husband's favorite. So I take about 5 or 6 russet potatoes, I wash them, and then I peel them off, and this is the hardest part about the whole dish, I promise. Once they are peeled nicely and the water is boiling, I cube these up to like smaller sizes so that way they cook faster, probably about like 1-inch cubes.
I'll be fine and you'll be gone when nothing's like home. I'm going for the gold.
And then I pop them into salted boiling water, probably for about 15 minutes or so until they're fork tender. And while those are boiling, the corn casserole was finishing up, and it came out so delicious. If you haven't made corn souffle or corn casserole, it's a must this holiday. It's so easy and so delicious. So if you look closely at the corners of like each of these, there's like little bits of food taken because I just keep nibbling as I go. How can you not? It's so good, and especially when it's just like the 4 of us. Like, really, who cares? Oh my gosh, corn souffle is my favorite ever. Oh my gosh, so good. So now that the potatoes are fork tender, it's time to drain. Honestly, cubing them up makes all the difference in the time, and it just helps so much. So I strain them up, and then it's time to add in the goodies. To make these mashed potatoes creamy and delicious, I add in half a stick of butter, a pinch of salt, a pinch of pepper, a little bit of garlic powder, a cup of whole milk, and a scoop of cream cheese. And I couldn't find my potato masher, but a fork worked just fine. I know some people also use a hand mixer, but whatever works for you, they are so delicious. I like them to be like a little bit lumpier. These mashed potatoes are so good. We like them lumpy in this house. I love Thanksgiving. I want to thank you guys again so much for stopping by. I hope that this video gave you some motivation, some inspiration to cook up some family meals this Thanksgiving. I know that times are different in 2020, and if you're looking to do maybe a barbecue instead, that is totally fine, but I love the good old Thanksgiving classics. I look forward to them every year. And if you have not done so yet, please remember to give this video a big old thumbs up, comment below, introduce yourself, and subscribe to my channel. I make videos every single week to hopefully motivate and inspire you to do something on your to-do list, tackle your to-do list, or just get you cooking in the kitchen. Thank you so much for being here. Till the next video. Bye, friends.